In 2016, 34 years after their second album, Slow Children came out with their third album. Well, howdy, Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this a brand new day. There is diffuse sunlight outside. There is cloud cover, likely to burn off at some point and then get way too warm, it being summer. Thumbs up for that. Well, in the northern hemisphere it is, so yay. Joy, life is life. As soon as I'm done recording, lights are going off, and the fan, which is out in the hallway running, is going up higher, and that fan in the window is going to be turning on to keep it nice and cool. It doesn't stay that way, but at least if it's there for a little while, that'll be good. I slept mostly well when I went to bed last night, and that is a good thing. All of my various animals are happy and friendly, and little Ghost the hamster came out for a run around and look around this morning. Definitely a thumbs up, a good thing. And of course, if you like what you hear and see, if you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you like what you hear and see as well, and you haven't subscribed to the channel, if you could do that, that would be very cool. If you could leave me a comment, that would be very awesome. And of course, I'd like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These literally beautiful and literally awesome people who are, in fact, literally beautiful and literally awesome, help to keep me and my pets alive. Literally alive. Without their help, I would be homeless, and that would kind of suck. Without a home, I would not do well, if at all. So thank you, each and every one of you. And if you would like to help me survive, there are links to my Patreon in the video show more. And if you'd like to help me out without becoming a patron, there's a PayPal. If you'd like to help me out without sending money, there's an Amazon wishlist link with stuff like cat food on it. So thumbs up. And hey, front loading of videos over. Whew. Already out of breath. I've been hacking and wheezing pretty hard this morning, so thumbs up. It's a productive cough. It's not like it's a dry thing. I'm coming up with phlegm and junk. There's all sorts of pollen and dust outside. I'm quite sure that there's probably mold in the house walls. So there's stuff that gets in your lungs. My therapist actually took a look on Google at a list of the common symptoms for like black mold in your walls. I don't have any of those. So, I mean, you get things like headache, you don't like to go out into sunlight, stuff like these. And yeah, I occasionally get headaches. I'm a human being, but that's not very often. And they're usually things like stress because of my muscles and my neck pulling and causing a headache. And then I go out in the sunlight with no issues. So that's just two things right off the top that I'm going, no, don't have that. Thank goodness. Past that, just surviving as stated. I slept pretty well and it's warm, but with the lights off and the fans going, it stays cool enough. So that's a good thing. I didn't fall asleep too much in my chair yesterday. Definitely thumbs up on that. My memory is doing better with the Buterin now that I'm taking that twice a day. I take it at 6 in the morning, 6 in the evening. You want to take it more than 6 hours apart, but you don't want to take it too close to bed. You take it within 6 hours, you can actually have a seizure, and if you take it too much before bed, you can have insomnia issues. Well, my chemistry is all weird anyway. I've taken it late, and it hasn't been an issue. So far, that sort of thing, not a problem with Buterin. And like I say, my memory is doing better, slowly, but I can remember some things that I think about the night before easier, and that's a good thing. As well as I am once again able to be thinking a thought, have a quick brief distraction. I'm able to put the thought up on pause and then come back to it, pull it off pause, and then continue. When I am unmedicated, I can't do that. So the fact that I can, definitely a thumbs up. So here's hoping that continues to do well. Definitely. Past that, aside from trying to be creative, trying to play games, trying to listen to music, I did want to talk about this one though. Yesterday I mentioned the group Slow Children and their album, I don't know what I was trying to say, their album Mad About Town that came out in 1982. That was their second album. I was reading the comments this morning, and Confused Owl had mentioned that they had listened to the first song off of that album that I had linked in the description and liked it well enough. So I actually Googled them up again. Their first album came out in 1981. I haven't listened to that one that I can remember. Their second album that I really like came out in 1982. In 2016, 34 years after their second album, Slow Children came out with their third album. The thing is, it's a two-person group. And the singer, it's a guy and a gal, and they're not a couple, but apparently they're friends. But back when they made their second album, the gal of the two-person thing married one of the producers, and she's been active in all the decades since. She's had many, many albums that have been coming out semi-regularly. So she's been active. And that's pretty cool. I haven't really seen the guy's name, so who knows? But that's actually interesting that they came out with a third album. And apparently there is a company that can and does do reissues. And apparently their back catalog is being reissued. Now, it's a niche market, small market. No one's ever going to be as big as the big music companies again. But that's cool that their stuff is being reissued. And that's cool that 34 years after their second album, they've come out with a third. There is another group that I listened to decades back, late 90s, that was called the Donner Party. Of course, everybody calls their stuff Donner Party. But they did a song called Tree Pig. And I actually did a reaction to the song Tree Pig. But if you search Google for Tree Pig or Donner Party, generally my reaction video is going to be one of the most relevant things about it. So I did a whole bunch of extra Googling, and I found that there was a live performance by the Donner Party in the year 2000 where they did a whole bunch of their stuff, like the song Tree Pig at 45 minutes in on their live performance. So that was kind of cool. It's sad that you can't find their, studio albums and such like that, but cool that, they're still active at least 22 years ago. So who knows, but that was kind of cool to find. So thumbs up on that. Past that, I've just been doing as best I can and surviving. There's been pressures from everything happening, in the world, climate change and more. In the United States, the regressives dragging us back and pulling freedoms away from us. Life is bad here in the U.S. now. I mean, it's been bad. It's getting worse, and it's going to get a whole lot worse. So that's fun. And then, of course, just life in my life being a huge pressure and weight. And with my mental issues, it's not joyous and fun, and it's hard to do things just because of the pressure and the weight. But I'm doing the best I can, and hopefully you can do the best that you can. Every day that you're breathing is a thumbs up. Past that. Now I'm going to but I choose to talk about creative stuff. I've been talking a lot about the Apple Rock Kaiju for my inside-outside razor's edge setting, but that, of course, is not the only thing that happens on this whole stuff. I mean, yes, the Apple Rock Kaiju is a dark and malevolent god of death and destruction and suffering. Not a real god, but it has a lot of power within the razor's edge. But as I've said before, as malevolent, as vile, as horrific as this thing is and the stuff that it has to do to survive, it really only affects just a fraction of 1% of everybody that lives in the razor's edge. 99.9 and just, a couple trillion nines in that direction after the decimal. No one's even ever going to know that it exists. So it's big, it's awful, it's powerful, but it's relatively insignificant. I mean, of course, if you're in one of the places that it rampages through so that it can fill its belly with human meat, that's really important, isn't it? And for every single person that it grabs, wads, chews up, and then swallows, yeah, it's more than just insignificant. But for the vast, overwhelming majority of human beings that live on the razor's edge, they don't even know it's there. As powerful as it is, as malevolent as it is, it's just another part of life. After all, on the razor's edge, being eaten is always in the top 10 causes of death. Usually in the top 5, sometimes in the top 3. If you're under the age of 20, it's almost tough reaching adulthood. People do have a lot of kids on the razor's edge because you're on the bleeding edge of an unending, untamable frontier. If you're not able to defend yourself, you get et a lot. And kids aren't good at defending themselves, so you have a lot of kids so that some survive to make it through. It's not like 10 kids and 2 survive. 10 kids and 7 make it through. And if you're older than 50, you start to have fewer older people because your reflexes are slower. And something that you would have fought off when you were in your 30s, maybe you don't fight it off when you're in your 60s. You killed it and had fun when you were 32, but it's having lunch now that you're 64. So being eaten is always a risk. It's always dependent on age and situation, though. But everybody has a story about how, I was with my friend Steve, and if the lizard hadn't eaten Steve, I wouldn't be here. Everybody's got a story of a friend or a close family member or an acquaintance that just got et right there. And it's just sheer luck that it was them and not the person telling the story. But, to try and continue on with what I'm going, this ties in as well with something that I had said before that's going on with the people that are rebuilding Apple Rock. Because yes, over half of the population of Apple Rock gets eaten by the Kaiju when it rampages. There are 25,000 people in the town, and 15,000 of them die, 10 to 12,000 of them eaten. With the outlying support population and villages, there's only like there's only about 30,000 people there. So 2/3 of the people that were in this place died, either just smashed and crushed in the violence of the night or just inside the belly of the Kaiju now. But even as the people of the Crimson Kingdom are coming in to help rebuild, and they have contractual obligations they have to fill, they are coming in and helping to devise things that will help slow the impacts of further rampages in the future. New ways to reinforce buildings, new ways to put stuff so that people can escape situations, fewer areas where there are dead ends so you don't get trapped. All sorts of things that they are working on, planning, and building. And at the very end of the whole project that I've got, one of the last few things that the people of the Crimson Kingdom, as they're rebuilding the place, is leaning on a shovel as they're digging and talking to some people. But they're just saying, all you can do is just live. At some point, you can't plan for the future. because then you'll drive yourself mad. You're second guessing yourself. You're third, fourth, fifth guessing. You can't just go, well, I can't do this because what if the kaiju wants it? Well, what if the kaiju didn't want you to do it? So now you've got to do it. Well, maybe the kaiju was thinking of that. So now you're 4 and 5 levels in, and you're just starting the rabbit hole dive. You will drive yourself mad. You will just not be unable to do anything. And so, yes, as this worker admits to the people there, yes, the things we were working on, the things that we are devising and putting into place right now may well be, in the short term, something that helps, and in 100 years, maybe something that just funnels more people into the kaiju's belly. We can't worry about that. All you can do is try to leave the world a better place than what you found it. Live your life and let the future take care of itself. All you can do is live. And yeah, as it turns out, from further stuff that happens, yeah, the stuff that they are doing and putting in place and all that, in 100 years, when the kaiju rampages and eats 225,000 people, just everybody in Apple Rock and the surrounding areas, all eaten by the kaiju. And yeah, a lot of it was because of the stuff that they were putting in place right then to try and help lower casualties for when it rampages. But all you can do is live. At some point, the future has to take care of itself. Just try to leave the world a better place than when you found it. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to talk about cryptids and what happens if your cryptid is mentally ill, but you're not. Because that's not a good thing. And I've opened up 24 hours about the comments in my community tab. I'm going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count American Sign Language, well. So, we have Adrian, thumbs up, and thank you very much. And I hope, I'm not really good at answering comments in text, so I try to answer them in video, but I'm going to try and answer in text as well. I haven't yet, I'm sorry, but thank you very much, and that'll be fun to see what happens in there, indeed. Confused Owl 29, I'm very glad that you enjoyed what you heard, and hopefully that what I was talking about was interesting. Jesse Koskinen, thumbs up. There are a lot of books in the Elder Scrolls games. Hokey smokes. And of course, always good to see you in the comments. JAYY, thumbs up and thank you. And oh yes, the Apple Rock Kaiju is evil. I love it as much as I hate it. Prius Tech, thumbs up and thank you. We have Loco5, thumbs up, thank you very, very much. Sophia, thank you, greatly appreciated. Kryptonite as well. Lots of things that you have talked about, lots of stuff that I would like to answer in text that I haven't, but I try to in video. But thank you very much and very good to see you in the comments. Chris Browning, greatly appreciated, and indeed, good old Baron Macaroni. And then we have Ben B. It is good to see you in the comments, though it's been a time. It feels like, anyway. There is Tommy Copeland. Thank you very, very much. And that is it. 11 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours. You get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people, if only for a short time, and if only in text. Thumbs up and thank you. It is appreciated. So I've got phone calls that I still am going to try and continue making. I've got things that I need to get done. Hopefully going to be able to get those done. That would be a good thing. Survival mode is also important. So I got to do what I got to do. And hopefully you can get done what you've got to get done. Thumbs up on that. And of course, there are variants in the United States of the Covfefe bug. So more people are getting the bug. More people are dying. Please just take appropriate and smart precautions for your area, which include getting vaxxed and getting a booster. And boy, I had thought that the GOP is evil. It comes to find out, of course, that down in Florida, the governor, DeSantis, not only is just normal scumbag, putting out disinformation and such, but actually said that they will make the vaccine available for young people because it's available and it's safe, and then didn't. You can't get it. So people are dying because of that. The GOP in the United States worships death. They are not happy unless people are suffering and dying. You take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is a very good thing.